Welcome to Bible Story Time, where we bring the timeless stories of the Bible to life with vivid storytelling and thought-provoking insights. Today, we journey back to the very beginning of humanity's story, the creation and the fall of man, from the book of Genesis. In Genesis chapters 1 through 3, we witness God's magnificent creation of the heavens and the earth, the formation of Adam and Eve, and the beauty of life in the Garden of Eden. But this story is more than just the origin of humanity. It explores themes of free will, temptation, and the consequences of disobedience. It challenges us to reflect on our relationship with God and the world around us. We'll delve into the wonder of creation, the joy of life in paradise, and the tragic moment when sin enters the world. Through these vivid scenes, you'll discover powerful lessons that remain relevant today. If you're inspired by these stories, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more captivating Bible tales that bring Scripture to life. In the beginning, there was only darkness, a vast, silent expanse without form or light. From this deep void, a voice, powerful and unyielding, resonated across the abyss. This was the voice of the Creator, whose thoughts and will carry life itself. His presence filled the emptiness with a force that stirred the silent cosmos. And then, the Creator spoke a single command: "Let there be light." Instantly, the darkness yielded, pulling away as a brilliant light erupted into existence. It stretched across the universe, bathing creation in its warmth and brightness. The Creator saw that the light was good, and with a word, He separated it from the darkness. Thus, day and night were born, and the first day of creation had come to pass. On the second day, the Creator spoke again, commanding, "Let there be a vault between the waters to separate them." At His word, a great expanse formed, stretching high above the waters below. The Creator named this expanse Sky, a breathtaking vault that glowed with a celestial hue. Clouds gathered and floated in this new realm, and gentle breezes began to stir. The Creator gazed upon His work, and it pleased Him. With a deep, resonant voice, He commanded on the third day, "Let the waters under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear." The waters obeyed, retreating to form seas, rivers, and lakes. Out of this retreat rose the dry land, rich and fertile, covered in soil and sand. The Creator named the dry ground earth, and the gathered waters seas. With the earth revealed, the Creator was not finished. He called forth all manner of plant life from the soil: lush green grasses, towering trees, flowering bushes, and creeping vines. He breathed life into each leaf and petal, giving them colors more vibrant than any seen before. Each plant bore seeds within, ensuring that it would grow and multiply, filling the earth with life. Fruit trees, laden with ripe, sweet produce, sprang up, and wildflowers burst into bloom. The Creator looked upon the earth, vibrant with vegetation, and saw that it was good. On the fourth day, the Creator turned His attention to the heavens. He said, "Let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate the day from the night." With these words, the sun was born, a blazing sphere of light that filled the sky with warmth during the day. As night fell, the Creator placed the moon and stars in the sky, their soft, shimmering lights dancing in the darkness. The stars filled the heavens, countless points of beauty and mystery, marking seasons and guiding travelers across time. The lights in the sky brought order, dividing the time into days and seasons. On the fifth day, the Creator looked upon the waters and spoke once more, saying, "Let the waters teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the sky." At His word, life sprang forth from the depths. Fish of every kind swam through the seas, their scales gleaming like precious jewels as they darted and danced in the water. The birds filled the air with their songs. The Creator blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and increase in number." On the sixth day, the Creator focused His attention on the land. He said, "Let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, livestock, creatures that move along the ground, and wild animals." In a moment, the earth teemed with animals of every kind: deer leaping through meadows, lions prowling with silent strength, sheep grazing peacefully in pastures, and tiny insects crawling through the underbrush. The animals filled the land, knowing that the earth was now filled with life. Yet there was still something missing, a being who could understand, love, and care for this magnificent world. So the Creator said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky." Then, from the dust of the ground, the Creator formed the first man. Then, leaning close, the Creator breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. In that instant, the man opened his eyes, seeing the world with awe and wonder. This was Adam, the first of humanity, created in the Creator's image, filled with life and purpose. The Creator brought Adam into the heart of Eden. He showed Adam the trees and plants, the rivers that flowed through Eden, and the animals that freely. And the Creator gave him a command, to care for the garden and protect it, living in harmony with all that had been created. Finally, the Creator spoke to Adam, showing him the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which grew in the center of the garden. "You are free to eat from any tree in the garden," he said, "but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for on the day you eat of it, you will surely die." Adam listened and accepted this command. The garden was his home, a place of purpose and peace, and he marveled at the beauty of creation. On the seventh day, the Creator rested, blessing this day as a time of peace and reflection, a reminder of the beauty and perfection of all he had made. The Creator walked with him, guiding him along the paths that wound through the garden. Eden was more beautiful than anything Adam could have imagined. Every tree was laden with fruit, and each plant blossomed with a rainbow of colors, his voice both gentle and commanding. "All of this is yours to enjoy and protect. You have been given dominion over every plant and creature in this garden. Tend to them with care." He began to observe the animals that roamed the garden, filling the air with their songs. Adam marveled at the peaceful bond between all creatures, sensing that each one was as much a part of the garden as the trees and rivers. The Creator continued. Then he led Adam to the center of the garden, where two trees stood apart from the others. "This is the tree of life. Its fruit grants everlasting life to those who eat it. And beside it stands the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. From every tree you may eat, but you must not eat from this one, for if you do, you shall surely die." Adam gazed at the tree of knowledge, his curiosity stirred by the weight of the Creator's words. The tree was beautiful, with leaves that shimmered like silver in the sunlight and fruit that looked rich and inviting. But he felt an unspoken warning in the Creator's voice. Adam spent his days exploring Eden. He named the creatures he encountered. Each name brought a sense of connection. The animals trusted him, and he found joy in caring for them. Despite the beauty of Eden and the companionship of the animals, he sensed something was missing. He watched as pairs of creatures moved together, birds that flew side by side, deer that grazed together, and even lions that rested peacefully with their mates. Adam felt a stirring in his heart, a yearning for a companion of his own. The Creator, knowing the desires of Adam's heart, spoke to him one evening as the sun began to set. A deep sleep came over him, soft and dreamlike, and he surrendered to it willingly, trusting in the Creator's promise. When Adam awoke, he felt a difference, a lightness in his spirit and a fullness in his heart. As he opened his eyes, he saw her, the one the Creator had fashioned from his own flesh, crafted to walk by his side. She stood before him, radiant and beautiful, with eyes that reflected the purity of Eden itself. Her presence filled the emptiness that had stirred within him, completing him in a way he hadn't known was possible. Adam gazed at her with awe and gratitude. "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh," he said. "She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man." Eve smiled, a warmth in her eyes that mirrored his own. Together, they stood in Eden, bound not only by the Creator's hand, but by a love that was pure and untainted. They explored the garden together, each new discovery more beautiful than the last. They laughed as they walked through the rivers, splashing each other in play. They rested beneath the shade of great trees, sharing the fruits of Eden and talking of the wonders they had seen. In Eve's companionship, Adam found joy beyond measure. They marveled at the sunrise each morning, the colors painting the sky in ways that left them breathless. As night fell, they watched the stars appear, countless lights twinkling above them, filling them with wonder at the Creator's boundless imagination. Their bond grew, rooted in trust and understanding. They shared everything: the beauty of Eden, the laughter of companionship, and the peace of knowing they were exactly where they were meant to be. Innocent and unburdened, they walked side by side, grateful for each other and for the Creator's boundless love. In Eden, there was no fear, no shame, only the joy of existence and the freedom of living within the Creator's perfect design. Adam and Eve knew nothing of pain or sorrow, only the bliss of their shared purpose and the beauty of their surroundings. In each other, they found completion. Though Adam and Eve felt no desire to challenge the Creator's command, the tree's presence served as a silent reminder, a test of trust that would one day reveal the depth of their love and obedience. For now, however, life in Eden was perfect, unmarred by worry or strife. Adam and Eve were content, secure in the knowledge that they were cherished, living in harmony with each other and with all of creation. The garden was their world, a paradise of endless beauty, and they moved within it with joy and gratitude, every breath a testament to the Creator's boundless love. Days and nights passed peacefully in Eden, and Adam and Eve continued to live in harmony with all creation. Each morning, they would wake to the soft glow of dawn, listening to the songs of the birds and feeling the gentle warmth of sunlight filtering through the trees. Together, they worked in the garden, nurturing the plants and tending to the creatures, their hearts full of gratitude for the world they had been given. But one day, as Eve wandered alone through a grove of fruit trees, she felt an unusual silence fall over the garden, a sense of unease stirring in her heart, though she couldn't quite understand why. As she stood there, she noticed a figure moving among the branches of a nearby tree, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Its fruit hung from the branches, rich and inviting. She knew the Creator's command well, but today, something in the air felt different, a presence she couldn't ignore. It was a serpent, moving gracefully along the branches, its scales glinting in the light. Unlike any other creature she had encountered, the serpent seemed to possess a strange intelligence. Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? The serpent's voice was soft, almost soothing. Yet there was a subtle edge to it that made Eve hesitate. She had never heard an animal speak before, and though surprised, she found herself drawn into the conversation. "We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden," she replied, her voice steady but curious. "But God said, you must not eat from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die." The serpent tilted its head, a hint of amusement flickering in its eyes. "You will not certainly die," it whispered, its voice laced with a confidence that unnerved her. "For God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." Eve's heart quickened. The serpent's words lingered in her mind, stirring a curiosity she hadn't felt before. She looked at the fruit, its colors vibrant and alluring, and for the first time, she wondered what it might taste like. The thought of gaining wisdom, of understanding the mysteries of good and evil, drew her in, clouding her thoughts with possibilities she had never considered. The serpent's gaze remained steady. Watching her, she reached out, yet the serpent's words echoed in her mind, overpowering her hesitation. Before she could fully process her actions, she plucked the fruit from the branch. The garden around her seemed to hold its breath as she took a bite, the taste sweet and intoxicating. In that moment, a change washed over her. Her senses felt sharper, her mind clearer, yet something within her felt unsteady. Adam, who had been tending to the garden nearby, soon joined her, noticing the look in her eyes. There was a mixture of wonder and fear on her face, an expression he had never seen before. She held out the fruit to him, her hand trembling slightly. "I ate it," she whispered, her voice a blend of excitement and unease. "The serpent said it would open our eyes, that we would be like God, knowing good and evil." Adam hesitated, his mind racing. The Creator's command had been clear, yet as he looked at Eve, He felt an urge to share this strange new knowledge with her. He took the fruit from her hand, feeling its weight, its temptation heavy. He took a bite, the taste mingling with a feeling of guilt as they ate. A flood of awareness washed over them, and their eyes were opened in ways they could never have anticipated. They looked at each other and realized, for the first time, that they were naked. A sense of vulnerability and shame filled them, a sharp contrast to the innocence they had once shared. Panicked, they gathered fig leaves, hastily fashioning coverings for themselves, each action filled with a new, unsettling self-consciousness. The freedom they had once felt in Eden now felt distant, replaced by a feeling of separation, an awareness that weighed heavily on their hearts. As the day drew to an end, they heard the familiar sound of the Creator walking in the garden. They felt a wave of fear. Unable to face him, they hid among the trees, their hearts pounding as they struggled to understand the change within themselves. Adam, the Creator's voice called out, resonating with authority and gentleness. "Where are you?" Adam's voice shook as he replied, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." The Creator's voice held sorrow as he asked, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?" Adam hesitated, his gaze shifting to Eve. "The woman you put here with me. She gave me some fruit from the tree, and I ate it." The Creator turned to Eve, his voice carrying both sadness and love. "What is this you have done?" Eve's voice trembled. "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." A heavy silence filled the garden as the weight of their actions settled upon them. He looked at the serpent, and in a voice filled with authority, cursing it to crawl on its belly and live in enmity with humanity for all time. To Eve, he spoke of the pain she would endure, the struggles and sorrows that would come as a result of her choice. And to Adam, he revealed the toil and hardship he would face, the earth yielding only through his sweat and labor. Though their innocence had been lost, the Creator's love for them remained. He fashioned garments for them from animal skins, a tender act of care in their moment of shame. Clothed and aware of the weight of their choice, Adam and Eve looked back at the garden that had been their home, a paradise now lost to them. With heavy hearts, they left Eden, the garden fading behind them as they stepped into a world forever changed. But even as they walked away, they carried with them the memory of Eden, a reminder of the Creator's love and the hope that one day they might find a path back to him. As Adam and Eve took their first steps beyond the borders of Eden, the world outside was vastly different from the paradise they had known. The land was rough and unyielding, the air carrying a chill that seemed to bite into their skin. They felt exposed, alone, and painfully aware of the innocence they had lost. Where once there had been only ease and joy, now there was struggle and sorrow, a new world born from a single choice. The Creator's presence felt distant, yet Adam and Eve held on to the memory of Eden, the moments they had shared in perfect unity with each other and the Creator. This memory became their guiding light, a symbol of hope in a world that seemed indifferent to their pain. But despite their regret, they knew they had to press forward, to carve out a life in this harsh, untamed land. Their first challenge was survival. In Eden, food had been abundant, each fruit ripe and ready to be plucked. Here they encountered thorns and rough earth. For the first time, Adam felt the true weight of labor as he worked the ground, his hands blistering as he tried to coax life from the soil. Each day was a struggle, yet with every hardship, he grew stronger, learning the rhythms of the earth. Eve, too, adapted, finding ways to gather plants and herbs, discovering those that would sustain them. Their relationship began to evolve under this new reality. In Eden, their love had been untouched by hardship, their lives woven together in effortless unity. Now, their bond was tested by toil and struggle. At times, they quarreled, each feeling the burden of guilt and regret that lingered from their fall. Yet in these moments of tension, they also found comfort in each other's presence, reminder that they were not alone in this journey. Together, they faced their new world, growing closer even as they navigated its challenges. The nights were long and dark, unlike the gentle evenings of Eden. Shadows cast by the moon seemed deeper, and unfamiliar sounds filled the air, evoking fear in their hearts. Adam and Eve would often huddle close, finding solace in each other as they faced the unknown. And though the Creator's voice no longer echoed through their days, a subtle, abiding presence remained, a reminder that they were not entirely abandoned. In time, they began to establish a routine. Adam became adept at hunting, his understanding of the animal's patterns allowing him to provide food. He used stones to craft tools, each one an extension of his desire to build and protect. Eve gathered seeds and planted small crops, cultivating life from the soil with a patience that mirrored her inner resilience. Slowly, they created a small haven amidst the wilderness, a place where they could find shelter, rest, and even moments of joy. One night, as they sat by a fire Adam had learned to build, Eve looked up at the stars, their light clear and brilliant against the dark sky. She thought back to the beauty of Eden and the choice that had led them here. Turning to Adam, she shared her heart's quiet hope. "Do you think we will ever see Eden again?" she asked, her voice soft, tinged with a sadness that had become a part of her. Adam looked at her, his face shadowed but kind. He didn't have an answer, yet he shared her hope. "Perhaps," he replied, placing his hand over hers. "But even if we never do, I believe the Creator has not abandoned us. I feel it in the land, in the strength we find to keep going." Eve nodded, finding strength in his words. Their exile was a heavy burden, but within them burned a determination to live, to honor the life they had been given, even if they had fallen from grace. And though they could not go back, the memory of Eden lived on in their hearts, guiding them with the quiet promise of redemption. The story of Adam and Eve teaches us a profound truth about disobedience and its consequences. In Genesis 2 verses 16 to 17, God gives a clear command. "You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat from it you will certainly die." This instruction was not meant to limit Adam and Eve, but to protect them and sustain their harmony with God. Yet, in Genesis 3 verse 6, they chose to disobey, led by temptation and a desire for knowledge beyond their need. This single act of defiance had far-reaching consequences, not just for them, but for all humanity. Their disobedience reminds us of an important truth. Every choice we make carries consequences. In their case, disobedience brought shame, separation from God, and hardship into a once perfect world. Genesis 3 verses 16 to 19. This story teaches us that God's commands are not burdens. They are boundaries of love, designed to protect us from harm and guide us toward His purpose. Disobedience often begins with small compromises, doubting God's word or believing that our way is better than His. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 reminds us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight." This story is not just a warning. It's an invitation to trust God, obey His word, and avoid the pain that comes from going our own way. As we reflect on Adam and Eve's choices, let us remember that disobedience can lead us away from God, but obedience leads to His blessings and peace. This story calls us to evaluate our hearts. Are we trusting God and His word, or are we following our desires? Hebrews 4 verse 16 reminds us that through Jesus Christ, we can approach God with confidence, find mercy, and realign ourselves with His will, even when we've fallen short. If this message resonates with you, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more powerful Bible stories that bring God's word to life. Hit the like button, share this video to inspire others, and leave a comment below. How has this story helped you reflect on the importance of obedience in your life? Let's grow together in faith as we learn from Scripture, one story at a time.